Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Mark?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for joining me on such short notice. Where are you located? Are you in California or?
I'm in Washington. I'm about 3 hours east of Seattle. Yeah.
Okay, all right,
How
cool.
and you are where again?
I'm in Houston, just outside of Houston.
In Houston. Oh, okay, cool. Um, so I guess I'll let you go ahead and start. I know obviously you've got this video chat platform, and it sounds like you're looking to make some changes.
Well, yeah, I mean we have a solution. Matter of fact, I'll pull it up just in case I need to show you. We've had a solution that's Flash based, and then we converted it to WebRTC. That we do large scale webinars for enterprise companies like Hewlett Packard. I used to work there for about 18 years, so I get in there, and then Dell, which is down the road, in Austin, Texas from us. So we get a lot of enterprise companies. We kind of started backwards. We got the big fish, and now we're wanting to diversify.
Cool.
So since we've came in, and for the last 10 or 15 years, we've been doing webinars for HP and Dell. Zoom's come into play, and their model, where my solution is PowerPoint centered. Everything centers around the PowerPoint. We upload it, it converts to HTML5, and it's more of a one-to-many or a few-to-many type presentation. Zoom has done quite well with more of a many-to-many video-centric solution, much like the room you're in now today. Right. The solution, and this isn't anything we've launched. This is stuff we're just kind of playing around with, but the solution that you're in today, the backbone, I guess you could say, or the engine, is Jitsi, if you've heard of that before.
Yes, absolutely.
You're familiar? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We actually talked to TalkBox a year or two ago, and their pricing model didn't work well with us. But I'm going to talk about that here in a minute, because the way the pricing model would work was something like this. You'd go out to our website. You wouldn't have to talk to a human. You put your credit card in, and for $5 to $10 a month, you could do an event anytime you wanted for up to 25 people, let's say. Well,
cool.
It's a good concept. Well, it's the same concept Zoom uses, and it's working well for them. And we've never had the opportunity to kind of have that ATM machine, if you will, where people just go out to our website and get a membership. The problem is,
right.
And I don't know if it's still a problem today, because I know pricing's gone down, but because we're charged by TalkBox, for an example, by the connection. It's kind of like a health club membership. If everybody that bought a health club membership actually went to the health club would have to be the size of a freaking mall, to hold everybody. So it's kind of a gamble in a way. So what I'm trying to get at is I'm trying to figure out industry averages for if I had 1,000 or 10,000 paying clients, how many of them would typically use the service on a daily or weekly or monthly basis, and what average size attendees? Is it 5 on average? Is it 2? Is it 10? Whatever. And to kind of calculate, and I've run some different numbers, and I talked to TalkBox a year or so ago, and they gave me some fairly competitive numbers at the time, and I actually went into their website, found you guys, and that's kind of how I found you. But to kind of get an idea from you, not necessarily on pricing, because you're obviously not employed by TalkBox, but if you've had any kind of track record in the past where people are doing large scale, not just for their little team meetings, but they want you to build something that would be scalable, to the masses. Have you done anything like that using TalkBox or something like it?
So actually, it's really interesting so we don't actively work with TalkBox right now, and we have requested that they take our name down from their partners, because we work with raw WebRTC, and we have our own solutions now that we use. However, we do custom anything. So we're always for hire, and we are familiar with using TalkBox. But the answer to your question is yes, and we have built large-scale WebRTC solutions. We've done projects for AT&T. We've done projects for other large companies, Precision Nutrition, things like that. And we have done so we've created systems for small conversations, one-to-one. We have, I don't know if you're familiar with Talkie, which is okay. So that's I don't know if you knew that was a end yet product, but that we created that. And then we've also done things like built SFUs and done, we have worked in broadcasting and recording and things like that. We do have our own product. Did I show you that yet?
The only product I've seen is that Talkie site.
We also we have a WebRTC solution that's similar to like a TalkBox API that's called Simple WebRTC. We actually use React components to facilitate our WebRTC connection. So we have a subscription service that we sell that is these React components, and it's all based on bandwidth usage rather than connections or per minute pricing. So we have larger plans, and they're built for larger companies. So they're not built for startups. They're built for companies that have an active business like you do.
Right.
And so that might be something that you'd want to check out. But I'd like to ask you, so are you looking, it sounded like when we were emailing that you were looking for a solution for smaller groups. Are you looking to completely rebuild and redo your broadcasting too, or are you really looking to just find that WebRTC solution that's pure WebRTC?
Well, I'm wanting to diversify, and by that I mean I'm wanting to have a solution that's more video-centric for smaller meetings. I'd say 50 or less on the high side.
Okay. So you're looking to essentially change just your and is this all in browser, or is this do you have software?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, the other component is I would need to be able to, and that was one of the reasons I was looking at like TalkBox as well as Twilio is another one, because they already had components to use for mobile browsers. I mean, that's going to be a very commonplace. Now, I liked, I can't remember if it was Twilio or TalkBox. One of the two even had a component on their mobile app where you could do screen share from your mobile app, which I know Zoom has that ability as well. So that would be important.
Okay, I'm just taking some notes here. So it sounds like, so you do need, obviously you need browser support, but you need mobile browser support, and you don't need, including screen sharing, but you don't need, you're not creating software outside of a browser to facilitate.
No. Well, no. Let me back up. We partnered with we're great at writing stuff. I mean, the application that we use, that we've used for 10 years, started as Flash, then we moved it to WebRTC. We've had great success with that, and quite frankly, we've been fat, dumb, and happy with that for a number of years.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, but I knew that gravy train was going to pull into the station one day, and Zoom's kind of help that along. Now they're kind of eking their way into HP and Dell and Microsoft and some of our other accounts, but so we've partnered with a company that has devised or designed a mobile app, strictly mobile, and it's for lead and contact management. So they're actually going after, because the founder has got a lot of knowledge in this industry, but multi-level marketing. And they've got some things on the horizon within the next 30 to 60 days where they're doing a deal with a couple of multi-level marketing companies where they may have 125,000 users of this multi-level marketing, and they may make, I don't know, 50, 60, 70,000 of some of their higher up people download this app that will have my video tool integrated into it. So that means
cool.
scalability. Yeah, it's cool, and what's keeps me up at night is the scalability side, because we have to be scalable without any human intervention or anything like that to the nth degree, you know. So that's been important, and we've kind of done that with the Jitsi platform, which again is what we're on today, where we can scale kind of to infinity on that. But the only thing that's bothered me on Jitsi, and it may be something that I'm worrying about for nothing, there's got to be a point where we have to get away from Jitsi and actually kind of make it our own, because part of the problem is every time Chrome comes up with a new update, something might break. I mean, and I know that's part of the problem with being browser based, but I'd rather have with Jitsi. I don't have a throat to choke. There's like 500 people all putting code together, and I kind of need a throat to choke, you know, at some point.
Absolutely. So really quick. So it sounds like we could be a good fit for a project here. I think that we have the skills to build what you're looking for. Now, what stack are you working with? Just before I get into any more detail.
What staff am I working with?
What stack? Like what? You know, what language are you guys?
You know, I own the company, and I know enough about programming to be dangerous. I don't know exactly on the Jitsi side what they're building it in. I know it's all on AWS, but that doesn't tell you anything. But I don't know. I could find out, but I don't really know. And quite frankly, if I married somebody else and they went, I would want them to tell me what it needs to be written in.
Okay. So if you don't mind, I'll summarize just a little bit and see if we're on the same page, so I can make sure that I've got all your details correct. So it looks like what you're doing is you want someone to build out this new WebRTC integration using something like Twilio or Talkbox that allows you to have groups of up to 50, and that has essentially infinite scalability in terms of how many rooms are available at once.
With an account-based management on the front end, something to manage accounts, you know, for the storefront type when they, yeah.
Okay, so you need that to be built out as well as the account management system. Okay, let me just take some more notes here. So we've got an account system. I'm assuming that means that you're going to have there's going to be some kind of awareness of whether you're online or you're not, and you'll be able to send invitations to people. And you know, we'll have to work through this a little bit more with some mock-ups and stuff to get a real detail of how this would go. But I'm assuming you can message each other and
right. Or when you come to our website. When you come to our website, you put your credit card in, you get an account, you can use it anytime you want. It belongs to you. It'll record and archive the recordings in your own little repository and stuff like that. Okay.
So we're building an account system with a billing system built in, you know, the Stripe integration, all that kind of stuff. There's going to be messaging, friends lists, or just a company, you know, list that's auto-populated, something like that.
Right.
And then we're going to allow people to form groups of up to 50. And I'm assuming we'll have to have some administrative privileges, you know, kicking people and things like that, you know, blocking video, stuff like that. So, okay. It needs mobile support. It needs screen sharing for all parties, you know, within mobile or not. As far as like text chat, do you have any specifications for text chat, or just?
Well, that's a good lead into my next piece, and I think to better explain it to you, I want to show you our current app. I'm going to screen share, and when I do, you can double click on my screen share, and it'll go full screen for you. But one of the things that has kind of been our name to fame with HP and Dell is the fact that we have translation and closed captioning built into the app. And because on the app that you and I are talking about, there will not be a PowerPoint feature to this. It'll just be chat. But the way our current app works, if I'm, and you can watch my screen, if I decide that I want to, maybe I'm in Saudi Arabia and I want I'm better suited to read and type in Arabic. So I choose Arabic, and when I do that, everything on my screen changes to Arabic, including all the text on the PowerPoint. But now, now that I've chosen that language, now I can type in Arabic. So if I typed, and I don't know Arabic, but if I typed a question to you in Arabic, you, I'm assuming, would have English as your default language. You'd get it in English. You wouldn't know I typed it in Arabic. You'd respond to me in English, but I'd get it in Arabic. So the way our current app works, everybody thinks that everybody else is typing in their native language. I want that built in again for the chat app, not only on the web-based or the browser-based side, but also a component that would lie inside the mobile app as well.
Okay. Now, is this something that you built yourself, or is this something that somebody else built for
This
you?
is something that my own developers from the ground up built. They're in India, and they built this from the ground up. I've had this technology
you own all
for
of
about
this.
10 years. Yeah, I own all of it.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
Yeah, so this isn't any...
if we could find a way to integrate this in, then that would be... You don't necessarily need someone to build this from scratch.
Correct, I don't. And we can show you, my developers could show your developers how they did it. So that's not going to be a problem. The other component that we have, and again, this is something you've probably seen before as well. Let me go back to English so I can read the thing. We have the ability, and it's not going to work on this one because I'm already using my microphone for this meeting, but I can go to settings, turn on closed captioning, and either use Google Speech to Text, or I can do a live closed captioning. I would want those features as well. Now, if I turn on Google Speech to Text, it's kind of comical almost on how it looks when the text comes across the screen. It's kind of like when you talk to your phone. Sometimes it understands you, sometimes it doesn't. But on this application, what we try to use it for is indexing. So if we have a series of webinars, you go, I know Mark said the word widget 3 weeks ago. I just don't remember where. You could search on the word widget, and then based on the speech to text engine, it would index it, and you could find it that way. But it's not very accurate, but accurate enough for indexing. Live closed captioning is 98% accurate because a human's sitting there with a, kind of a court reporter type thing, putting it in. I don't necessarily need, well, I'd like to have the human one, which is an additional fee for us. We have to hire somebody, but I would like the speech to text engine built into it.
Sure. Okay.
Which again is not difficult to do through Google anyway, but would show you how to do that.
Sure. And do you have any, as far as these features that you already own, do you know what those were built in?
No.
I'm assuming. I mean, obviously they're using APIs. It would be good to get that info from you if you can get that, just because it'll give us as far as our experience and what our developers are used to doing, it'll give us a better, we'll be able to know if those will be translatable for us.
Right. Right. And quite frankly, if I put the screen back up again, I mean, it's got that, ooh, this is so cool and high tech. It's like Star Trek. It's the most easy, trivial thing you've ever known. I don't know why more people aren't doing it, but I got to get my developers to switch it. If you look at this bar at the top of my screen, this Google Translate bar, it's like I'm sure you've seen before. It translates everything on the page.
Absolutely.
PowerPoint. So there's no magic to it between you and I, but it does have a perceived. I've shown this thing to, because we partner with HP and we go out to a lot of schools and universities, and we have another solution that is more like a virtual classroom type for teaching. But I showed this application to the president of University of California in Long Beach. I actually flew there and talked to him, and he said that if he hadn't been sitting in the same room with me, he would have not believed that translation with closed caption, speech to text engine, all that could be tied together and be possible. And that's the president of University of California, Long Beach. So it's got a perceived wow and sex appeal that, it's really behind the curtain. There's nothing to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is really impressive already. So very, very cool stuff. So I guess my one other main question is, I know you probably don't know this, but if I'm going to put together, a quote and all this, it would be good to know what you anticipate your usage to be. Just so it'll give me the ability to say, like I said, we have this solution, Simple WebRTC, that allows us, and it's our kind of like an API that allows us to build the WebRTC stuff, and it allows us to do these things really quickly, rather than working with raw WebRTC. But if that's not a good fit because your usage doesn't fit with our pricing model, then I would like to know, and we can, and then I'll explore more TalkBox and Twilio as far as that being the engine behind here.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, when we get charged by the connection, it rarely works well for us. But just on the company Marketing Matters, the company that we partnered with, just based on their usage and the reach that they have, because they're dealing with, and again, it's nowhere I would have ever thought to go into the multi-level marketing side of things. But what Marketing Matters is doing, this will kind of give you a testament of possibly the bandwidth. We have a company, it's a multi-level marketing company. Its name is 4X, F-O-U-R-X, which is some kind of a trading company, but somehow they baked MLM into it. Don't ask me how. We're probably going to, yeah, it's weird. And we're probably going to close them. And that will probably be one of our first accounts if they close. We're waiting for the president basically to get back from Europe. But if we close them, and what we're doing between you, me, and the phone line here, Marketing Matters, the company I partnered with, they're giving the owners of these companies money. They're giving it, so every time their people go up and sign up and have to pay a monthly fee to use the app, we kind of, not under the table, we just kind of give the owners, say, hey, you get $1 for every time because at the end of the day, all they care about is money. So what I think is going to happen in this case, they have like 125,000 people. I think they're going to make between 50 and 85,000 people sign up to get this app, meaning they're going to say, you need this app to keep track of your downline or whatever. And when that happens, all of a sudden, we're going to have tens of thousands of people that are using the Marketing Matters app to keep track of their leads. And part of that component is there's a video component. So if the leaders, let's say you're in it, you're selling this multi-level marketing stuff, and you got 30 people under you or whatever, you're going to use a component inside that's got a bridge to our solution to all of a sudden just start a meeting with these 30 people and say, hey, let's get, let's rocking and rolling here, whatever. And so based on those numbers, and again, this is what keeps me up at night, our ramp up may be pretty darn fast. So that's why I need to know some numbers kind of on into the ether as far as being able to scale, and as well, kind of what the numbers are on that, because basically
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
what I was going to say is, I can put together, if you'd like, I can just put together, like I said, so the way that our plans work with our subscription service is we have, they're both pretty large plans, and it's essentially planning for a lot of usage. I can put together some just estimates for you that will let you get a feel, and that way it's not tied to any specific number of people, and because it'll have to do with how many hours they're on, and and actually streaming and that. So I'll get that together for you.
Okay, yeah, because I've talked to some other people that they don't charge by the connection, but it's more of the data, and I honestly don't even know, and I've asked them, they haven't gotten back with me, but I don't even know what the average data consumption would be, like you and I talking right now. What is it? I've been told it's around 5 megabits per minute, I guess, but if you can give me something to run a calculator on so I can kind of run some scenarios.
I can give you an exact calculation here. Well, it's not an exact calculation. It's a very good estimate. Just one moment when I pull that up. So this is going to be the information that I have right now, and I'll get better information for groups of 50. This is for pure WebRTC, which is essentially facilitates up to 6 people. So we'll have to kind of recalculate this, but if we're talking about small groups like me and you talking, I can give you a pretty good calculation right now. Right now, 1 minute of streaming audio and video for a one-to-one call uses 11.25 megabytes. However, WebRTC
11.25 per minute or per hour?
1 minute for 1 minute, 11.25 megabytes. However, there's one little caveat there. So are you familiar with like a stun server and a turn server and how they react? Okay, so generally about 80% of those calls are going to go through stun. So 80% of those calls are going to be free peer-to-peer, and you're not going to have to pay for any bandwidth. So if you're doing it if you're trying to get an average amount, you really need to divide that 11.25 by 5 to get 20% of that, because that's what's most likely going to happen over turn. That's going to depend on where your connections are coming from. If they're on the same network, if they're using a mobile connection, that 20% will vary a little bit. So that's for a one-to-one. The only thing that you need to remember when you're using WebRTC is that it's based on the streams, and if you're running peer-to-peer, like if we added another person, I'd then be sending 2 streams, you'd be sending 2 streams, they'd be sending 2 streams. So we would have, it kind of grows exponentially, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Okay.
But I can, like I said, I can put together some real estimates that give you a better feel for what you're looking at there. So I think I've got the info that I need to at least put something rough together for you, so you can make a decision. Do you have any questions for me? Any other information?
Well, I mean, well, the only thing, and it's more of a, just so you kind of know what brought me here today. I've got my developers in India. And the good news is they are very inexpensive to develop stuff. The bad news is you'll ask them what time it is, and they'll tell you blue. It's just the communication is not the best. Their sense of urgency and stuff like that. They've done a great job, but months behind. The when we wanted them to have things and stuff like that, buggy type problems and stuff. So. Instead of having them develop the Zoom type platform, I didn't want to use them, so I went with the Jitsi thing, which is what I found that would work. But then I'm wondering how limited I may be, and I need to break apart. I need some, really to make Jitsi work. I need someone who can eat, just eat, sleep, and poop Jitsi, to come in and eventually make it my own. The reason now where I am today is I just want to wait before I'm already into the Jitsi build out here, and God willing it'll be done in the next 30 days. But I haven't put so much money into it. I don't want to at least explore opportunities like you have, because I kind of drool a little bit when I look at the TalkBox or the Twilio stuff. They've already got the components, kind of like you said you have, already designed. It's just a matter of gluing them together, and they're already battle tested and everything. So do you guys already have an SDK for mobile as well, like Android and iOS?
We don't have a specific SDK React actually, if we use these components in a browser, it's going to be compatible with Android and iOS out of the box. The only thing we have to do is create a different UI for the phone. So there's a design aspect to that which is required just to get that. It's going to be different looking at a computer screen versus the phone.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I was going to say though that really is the best part though is the browser changes. Those are what kill everybody. I mean, keeping up with those changes and keeping browser compatibility. And that's one thing that we really like, because we're good at that. We're good at staying on top of those and making sure that we're compatible for the future.
So other than the talkie thing, which I have seen, do you have any other examples I could eyeball while you're pulling data together, just to kind of see some of the stuff you've done?
Yeah. Let me find. I'm sure there's a text chat in here.
There is.
There we go. Nope.
Yeah, it's to the right of the little hand. I just said hello in it.
Oh, yeah, there we go. why I'm not finding it.
Down at the bottom left, there should be 3 icons. The one to the right looks like a little chat bubble.
My name in. I have to put my name in. That was it. Let me get you a link really quick. We've got some case studies that I can send you.
Okay. And I guess it wouldn't be rocket science if we ended up using you guys for you to provide my marketing partner who has they have their own app. They're 100% app based. They don't even have a web based, browser based, to give them some component that would kind of talk to their app. Is that true?
Oh yeah. So if even if we build this out for you, we're going to give you full access to everything behind the scenes. So you guys will have those React components that you can use. You do whatever you want with, basically. So you can build on this later. If you have a developer that's familiar and and wants to do that, you'll have total ability to do that.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got some case studies there with a few of our projects. And I can, if you've got more questions, we've got other projects that we didn't do a case study on that I'd be happy to get you more info on. And then this is our product, the Simple WebRTC. And this gives you a lot more info here as far as how the pricing works and all of that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I looked at that, and I probably, looking at your plans, the executive one, $4,000 a month. That's the one, and you've already answered, I guess, the question, because I didn't know if I'm paying you, and I know my price is not going to be obviously $4,000 a month. If I paid you the $4,000 a month, though, I have to pay TalkBox on top of that. But it sounds like I don't need to worry about TalkBox anymore. You guys have your own.
Well, exactly. If you go with us, that $4,000 a month, that's kind of that's a ballpark figure that we come up with, because we have to kind of evaluate each, case by case. That was kind of a solution that we came up with so that people don't have to put everything up front, and because that can be difficult for a lot of companies to do. So I'll try to put a quote together that gives you as many options as possible.
Okay.
But no, none of this involves any other service. This is all fully contained. If we build this, you will not have to pay anybody else besides us.
And will you do the server management, maintain the servers and all that kind of stuff as well? Is that
absolutely? That's what we run all of our own system. Our Talkie product is run on our servers. So if you want to play around with it, you can see how the connections work. You can see, check out the stability, and it's 100% free. So you just log on there if you want to.
Right. Right. And what servers do you use? AWS or some other server?
We do everything through Amazon.
Okay.
Oh no! Wait, we switched. I'm sorry. It's Google Cloud now. We were with Amazon, and now we're running everything through Google Cloud. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you guys already scalable to the nth degree?
So our product, Simple WebRTC, it's scalable in terms of the amount of connections that you can make, the amount of sessions that you can have. However, there is a limit of 6 people in a room. But there are ways for us to do some custom development that gets us around that. It's just not built into the product. So essentially, what I'll be doing then is coming up with a quote for custom development, and we'll kind of work the product in there. And I usually try to give a discount on subscription fees, or you know what I mean. I'll pair a year of usage with the initial cost, or we can spread it out over a year, or things like that.
Well, when you do that, still give me, which you probably were anyway, give me the cost also on if I take baby steps and just come out first with the 6-person or less model. In addition,
sure.
Give me that. And then I think you just said you're going to do this. I have investors that work with me, and they give me money, every month or every quarter, depending on who the investor is. So any kind of a monthly or quarterly or whatever payment type thing, if you could show me that as well, just to make things smoother.
Sure, absolutely. So if I'm providing you with 2 quotes, we're going to do the up to 6 and we're going to do the up to 50.
Right.
And then everything else is going to remain the same in terms of accounts and all that other stuff. That's all kind of set in stone.
Right.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, it'll probably take me a few days to get all this together. I'll have to consult with my team and everything, but I'll have this to you by the end of the week, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, that's no problem. And if there's any big price differential, you could even give me, if 50 is, a lot, even I could possibly make do with 25 as the max. I'd really, if I'm pie in the sky and at 50, because I have this other application that goes into the thousands, my full-blown application that I did a screen share just now on. That one I've done thousands and thousands of people on one event. So I got that. So I just need to, this is a stopgap basically for the smaller team meetings, stuff like that.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'd be happy to get this together for you. And yeah, I don't think I have anything else. I think I've got a pretty good feel of what you're looking for.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah, well, hey, thanks so much, Mark. It's really nice to meet you. We'll be getting back to you soon.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Hey, you have a great day. Thanks so much.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.